best car, SUV, or truck, guess what? You're in luck. Frontier Motors is down the street. Got the best deals that can't be beat. Don't overpay, come in today. Doing business the old-fashioned way. Frontier, we've got the right price. Frontier, we'll treat you mighty nice. Frontier Motors, low overhead country.
And who better to discuss low overhead the country than the owners of that fine establishment? Ivan Strickland and Ron Schneider have joined us, and you can too by dialing right on the phone, 478. Wait a minute, let's make it 476. I forgot we're on the other station. 476-1007, 476-1007. That will connect you as if by magic to Ivan or Ron, who will be happy to take any inquiries from you concerning the price of a car, truck, or SUV that you're thinking of buying or selling or trading in. There. Did I say that more or less correctly?
You done good, Don.
Yes,
All right,
yes.
good.
Here we are with a unique little situation. We are on the radio and on television. We are taping for our cable viewers, and I'm sitting along with Ivan Strickland. I'm Ron Schneider, and we're here to talk a little bit about Frontier Motors. I know this isn't probably the first time you watch the show. I know it's very intriguing when you're watching it, and of course when you're listening,
We're so entertaining.
Yes, and when you're listening, of course, you gather a lot of information, and we hope that you do. What we bring to you, Ivan has the books over there.
The books that I have are on display if you're watching this on TV, not if you're watching this on radio. Hopefully you're not watching
on radio, yeah.
But the books that we use to get values for the show in the Pensacola area are a little bit different than what you get on the Internet. I've got the Internet in front of me, and they have the Edmunds and the Kelly Blue Book, and they do have a consumer's version of the NADA. I use an official NADA guidebook that you have to be a credit union, a bank, an insurance company, or a car dealership to get. These books are sort of important because the bank will normally tell you that's what a car is worth, even though they don't have a clue. What they're really saying is that's what they're going to loan on a particular car, and they normally will loan retail, which this is where the NADA book comes in. The Black Wholesale Guidebook is normally what we call the secret book, which is the books that car dealerships in the past have never wanted to show you, because pretty much it's going to tell you what a car goes for at the auction, and they categorize it in rough condition, average, clean, and extra clean. And of course, if I'm looking at the first, I open the page, Ron, and it's on a Suzuki Grand Vitara, and it says that a two-door hardtop 12 model has a rough book of $9,300 and an extra clean book of $13,300. So you've got a $4,000 spread. And that's why Ron and I are here doing this radio show in the Pensacola area going for 17 years now to kind of give you an idea about that $4,000 spread. Is the low end of that spread right, or is the high end of the spread right? And that only comes from experience, and that's why you might want to call the show to see, are the books correct or are they not correct? Again, that's 476-1007.
And how do Ivan and I and the staff over at Frontier Motors weigh these out? Well, there's another way. They also, Manheim Auto Auctions is the largest auto auctions in the United States, and they also let us look inside what's going on at the auto auctions. So let's say there's a big $4,000 gap. Well, what we do is we turn right to Manheim, and we find out what's going on at the auctions yesterday, the day before, and last week's sales, and that'll tell us if they're high or low. Also, some of the things that you can get nowadays is Carfax. And actually, Carfax has got a little bit into the business. They have a little thing right in the front of their front sheet that says higher or lower in the market right now. And that's a good thing, because what Ivan's talking about is you can get confused when there's a $4,000 gap. But now Carfax has also jumped into, of course, history reports. But now they've also are looking at, is the market higher or lower? And then also we have what they call the ACT system that we use at the dealers, provided by Dealer Services. It tells us high or low. It also tells us if it's a core item, and a core means that, yeah, you want it in your inventory, and then it comes up a big red core with a negative arrow on the back, says, no, you have too many of those, or they're not doing that well in the market. But those are all the things that we'll share with you. 476-1007. Don introduced us at the beginning of the show, and if we don't get some calls, he falls asleep over there behind the wheel, and so we don't want him to do that. And you know how to run the phones this morning? You got the phones ready?
I think so.
All right, good.
Some of these buttons.
476-1007. For those viewers watching on television, the car lot telephone number goes right along the bottom of the strip right there, so you can give us a call there. They're all standing by to help you out.
And if you're in the Alabama area, add 888 if you want to make a toll-free call if you're outside of the local calling area.
Wow.
We have a clicker on our NADA appraisal guide, Ron, that I didn't know about because we were looking at the subscription. We buy the subscription to the NADA on a yearly basis. And year to date, we've had it for 7 years now on the electronic version of it, and we've ran 94,000 12,000 appraisals.
Holy bucko.
And that has nothing to do with our AX system. AX system is what the dealer track system, which is what Ron and I use to appraise a vehicle, which is completely separate. So we've probably done about 180,000 appraisals in that 8-year time frame, and that's before, that's on the computer, because before that we did the old-fashioned way. And we still bring these books to the show because if we have a crash on our computer systems, we still want to be able to help our customers out with the values of the car. So we still have these books, and we were looking at these books the other day, Ron, because we hardly ever pull these out. If I talk to a customer, I have everything on my phone. The books now are electronic, so I can scan the ID number on my phone. We have a program called eCar List, and this you got to be a car dealership to get. And you scan the ID number. I don't know if people know this, but your car has a barcode, just like the grocery store items have a barcode. And it's usually on the door or on the windshield, and takes me about 5 seconds to scan it. And it'll go into my computer. It'll immediately tell me how much the black book is on that car, which is the auction guide, how much the bank is going to retail that car for and loan on it, and how much loan value is. Loan value is what I can borrow if I'm going to floor plan the car through our bank, how much they're going to borrow me, because obviously they're going to borrow me as a dealer quite a bit lower than they'll borrow you as a retail customer. But it makes everything so easy for Ron and I to do an appraisal. But it really still comes down to, does the car sell or doesn't it sell? And that's one of the things that the bankers don't know. The banker's going to look at a car and they say, it's worth $12,575. That's what the book says. But nobody's selling those cars. They have a 120-day supply, which is a very large supply, versus some fast-selling cars might have a 15-day supply. Of course, that's what the car dealerships use to decide what they're going to appraise the car for. And that's why we can be helpful to give you the real value of a car if you want to go ahead and dial 476-1007.
One of the things I just want to touch about NAD, they've been in business for 80 years. I think that this year is their 80th celebration. And there's a Edmunds out there, and there's a Kelly Blue Book.
Look that up, because you probably...
It's on the front. It's on the front. Open the front page right there. 80 years. And
wow, you didn't make it up.
Edmunds and the Kelly Blue Book are on the websites. You can go to any website, but it's confusing. It really is, to take those not used in our area. Now, they use them on the West Coast. If you go over across Mississippi, there's some places that use them West Coast and some of the places up north. We don't care how they do it up north. But if you want to become verifiable and you want to know what to do and you want to stay in the same singing book, hey, use the NAD. Much easier. Little about inventory. We are Frontier Motors. If you just joined us, this is the Frontier Motors Show. You can dial in 476-1007. Like Don Parker said, 888 if you're outside the area. You want to call and talk with us, you're more than welcome to do that. But we carry about 300 used cars. We are the largest independent dealer in the state of Florida. We're the largest in the southeast United States, ranked somewhere around 7 or 8 in the United States. But what we like about our inventory is it's easy for the consumer to pick out a car. When you come to most car lots, you might find 5 or 10 pickup trucks, or you might find 6 or 7. I counted yesterday 63 pickup trucks used. Wow. Our inventory is over 300. Here's some pretty big numbers. 10 Cadillacs, 25 Chevrolets, 16 Dodges, 42 used Fords, 26 used Hondas, 17 Hyundais, 21 Toyotas, 17 Nissans. So a lot of different cars and a lot of different models in that 300. We even have a little Fiat, which everybody's got to have a Fiat, I guess. We have a little 500? Fiat. We have Fiat 500. We got Acuras and we got BMWs. And one of the other things that we kind of try to do is we try to make sure that you're getting a good deal. And sometimes we find these window stickers. Here's a little window sticker from a Honda Civic LX. It was in the glove box. It shows how much it was new. This particular model was $19,305. Now, if you're going to buy it used, of course, it's depreciating. And I figured it out. The NADA today is 14.3, and we can sell it with a 26. It's 14.3. That's a 23% depreciation. Pretty good. That's holding its own. It's a 2011. Here's a Ford truck. I got a Ford truck here that I did the same thing with. Here's a Ford F-150. This is their big, huge window sticker that comes on the truck when you're new. And here's one. This is $38,475. We can sell it for $31,900. That's at 18%. Now, that's only 1 year. The other one was, this is not 13, it's almost in the current year. But 11 was a couple, 3 years old. This is a 13, that's at 18%. So when you're trying to find something that's almost new, how many miles are on this one? I think it's got like
3,000 miles.
3,000 miles on it. You're trying to save 18, 20%? Look at used. Ivan and I have been preaching, and I know somebody else has, and the commercials always say that buy used, you can save a little bit of money. But here's a car that all the factory warranty goes with it. It's in excellent shape. It's got 3,000 miles. Why did somebody trade in? There's 20 different ways and 20 different reasons people trade them in. But good values.
That translates into a $6,000 savings over price of a new one. Ron's talking percentages. I like to talk in real numbers. That's $6,000 less than a brand spanking new one. And that's not off the list price. That's off the discounted price, because we don't compare the list price of a new one. If the list price of that truck was $43,000, for example, we don't expect you to walk in and pay $43,000. So what we do is we figure you can get at least $4,000 off, which brings it down to $39,000, and we can sell that same vehicle with 3,000 miles on it for, let's say, $33,000. That saves you $6,000 off of the discounted price, almost $10,000 off of the list price of the car. So it's sometimes staggering.
Kind of unique that out of 120-some registered new and used car dealers, that we are actually, I was going to show them this too, that we are actually the only one, the only one that actually puts both of those in the glove box. Now, we were talking about values up and down earlier in the show here, and is Carfax getting in it? Well, this particular Carfax says this vehicle is $2,020 lower than the average retail. But there's a reason. There's a big red flag on this particular vehicle. Got damaged in a hailstorm, and it got damaged in a tornado, and it got damage on it. So what they're saying is the depreciation alone for that damage is $2,020. So having those Carfaxes, having those things in a glove box. Now, we didn't have this car in stock. This was a potential trade, and we caught this on a potential trade because the customer told us there was nothing wrong with the car.
Well, it only shows a total loss, salvage title, rebuild title, junk,
and they
major
told us
junk.
and they told us there was nothing wrong with it. Now, of course, we didn't trade with these particular folks because they were astonished that it was actually worth about 40% less than what they thought. Now, when the person sold it to them, said, no, we fixed it. We got it nice. It's great. We got a good deal on it. And they were happy with their deal. Don't get me wrong. There's still some people out there that buy these. We understand that. But it's not
But they didn't get a deal. The problem is they didn't steal the car.
They didn't. You almost got to steal the car to get a really, really good deal. We were talking earlier about inventory while Ivan was talking about all the other things and the values and what we can and can't do for you at Frontier Motors. And that stuff is free. All you got to do is call. Our telephone number at work is 436-8080. But we're talking about some of the inventory. Of course, we're on the radio, and your viewers out there in camera land, we're going to give you about 30, 40 seconds to look at some of our inventory while we're talking here on the radio. We have a huge amount of inventory, keeping the 300 cars. 61 SUVs. You sold one last night, so there's 60 SUVs in stock at Frontier Motors as you're watching the show. What do you got right there, Rob?
Well, I was looking at the amount of miles some of our cars run. And we have a Honda CRZ, which is a Honda hybrid that has 71 miles on. You know, we're talking about us being a used car dealership at Frontier Motors, but we're here to get the word out that if you're thinking about buying a brand new car, stop in at Frontier Motors and let's see what we have in a 2014 or a 2013 car with very low miles on. And our prime example is 2013 Honda with 70 miles on it, a 2012 Toyota RAV4 with 400 miles on it. How about a 12 Honda Civic with 900 miles on it? A 13 smart car. If you're going to buy a smart car, you would look at a new one. I think, who's the closest dealer? It's got to be in Birmingham somewhere, right?
I don't know how many smart people are around
There's
here.
not many smart people buying smart cars. Anyways, it's got 1,000 miles on. We got a Jeep Wrangler in stock around that we just purchased. It's absolutely gorgeous, dark maroon in color. It's got 1,500 miles on. Hill Kelly's our local Jeep dealer. They're a great dealer. If you're going to buy a brand new one, I suggest you go to our local dealership and patronize them. But why not stop in at Frontier Motors and see how much we can sell you a 1,500-mile Wrangler for to compare to their out-the-door figure. And especially important, folks, if you've got a trade-in. Even if you decide to buy the brand new car, you've got enough money, maybe you won the lottery, maybe somebody died and left you a bunch of money, and you don't care how much we save you, and you're going to buy a brand new one, why not bring us a trade-in to make sure that we keep them honest as far as the appraisal is concerned? What if they don't like your trade-in? What if they've got 10 of them on the lot already and they give you a much lower appraisal than they should? That's why you stop at Frontier Motors. Let Ron or myself or our two sales managers, Keisha or Todd, appraise the car for you, and we will give you a buy bid in writing. That way you can actually show it to the dealer. So if we appraise one for $18,000, this happened yesterday on a Lexus, Ron, they were trading at a local dealership. I appraised the vehicle. They appraised it for $17,000. I appraised it for $18,000. And I said, well, why don't you go ahead and trade it there because you get a little bit of a tax credit, and I'll buy it right from the dealer. So you get an extra $1,000. But that was a good idea, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was a good idea until they found out that there are different choices for some of the vehicles. They were going to pull behind a motorhome. And when they came to Frontier Motors and they found those 61 SUVs, That's the customer we sold, so that's why I subtracted 1 to make it 60. They found out there was also different kind of vehicles, and one of the things that they went to, some of these dealers they went to, no, this is the only car you can. No, this is the best car you can. And we didn't have that. Whereas an independent dealer, we can show you this, and this.
Tell them
And
all.
yeah, I even showed them a Buick Enclave, which could be towed. We showed them a Honda CRV. We showed them a Jeep Wrangler. We showed them all these different vehicles. And then we had the Remco file up and their website, and we're able to pick that out, which ones work and which ones don't, and what kind of things you need with it, what kind of hits you need with it. So going to an independent dealer sometimes helps a little bit in those factors. I haven't said if you're going to go buy a new car, you're going to go buy a new car. We don't want to change that because today's new car is tomorrow's used car.
Yeah, new car business is really good right now. They're talking about maybe selling 16 million cars. Ron, they haven't done that since 2007. The recession, at least in the car business, seems to be over with because they're going to have a record new car year. And you'd think that would get us down being a used car salesman. John and I both are used car salesmen. It doesn't, because that means those people are going to trade a bunch of cars in. And we're going to be the recipients of having the nicest cars in town because we have a bigger galley to choose from. We're going to have a lot more vehicles available, which means we can pick or choose. When the inventory gets down and there's nothing available, we've got to scrape. Now we don't have to anymore.
Yeah.
There's some really nice cars. What also happens when new car business is good, it drops the values of the used cars because there's too many used cars. So right now we're getting bargains on used cars that we didn't get 3 years ago. So we're able to buy these cars at a reduced savings. And the nice thing about Frontier Motors, which we haven't talked about, is we're not in Car City. And the reason we're not in Car City is not because we don't want to be there. We do want to be where all the customers are. Customers flock to where the largest masses of dealerships are because they can go from one dealership to the next dealership. But we weren't able to go there because we wanted to keep our overhead at about a third of what it would be if we went to Car City. And because of that, we don't have a mausoleum. We don't have a huge mortgage. We don't pay crazy taxes and insurance. And because of that, we can sell the cars at a profit, but the amount of profit that we have to make to stay in business is quite a bit less than we'll see if you have a mausoleum like some of the dealerships have. And because of that, you're going to be able to save some extra money if you stop in at Frontier.
Well, we got all the inventory. We talked about some of the free service. We talked about what kind of cars we have for sale. Now, we buy cars. And the reason we buy cars is we're not a new car dealership. Just like we said, we're an independent used car dealership. So sometimes we don't have that influx of the new car trades. We do have influx of a lot of trades that we sell cars. For instance, yesterday we sold a nice little 2013 van, and we got 2 trade-ins, one Solstice and one pickup truck. But we buy a lot of cars. And what we're looking for is we're looking for late model cars, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years old. And if you have one that's even older than that, and has high miles, and you're just trying to maybe settle a state or get rid of it, we can help you with that. But what we're looking for to buy for our inventory is nice, clean, used cars. We had an example this morning. Some people are moving to assisted living, and they only need one car. And they brought up a beautiful Mazda with low miles on it. Of course we're going to buy that. And that's why we're talking about it here on the television and on the radio. We buy cars. It's a real easy process. Keisha Streckel and Todd Gordon, our sales managers, do most of it. Ivan and I still do some of that. But if you want to come by and ask for Keisha or Todd, they'll take your car and drive it. They'll run the ID number like Ivan said. They'll scan it with their phone. We'll put it in the system, and then we'll give you a figure that we'll buy it for. And we'll give it in writing, and you don't have to make the decision that day while you're there. If you're the wife or the husband or you can't come together and you need to talk with someone, maybe you're settling an estate like I said earlier, then we'll give this in writing, and we'll give you 7 days to make up your mind. You already may be trying to sell it, and you may be having difficulty selling it. Why don't you stop by Frontier Motors? We'll give you that buy bid. For instance, if you're trying to sell your car right now for $12,500 and nobody's answering, come by Frontier Motors. We'll find out why. And if the target is $10,000 that we'll buy at wholesale, now you know. Keep the ad in there, and if somebody calls you up and you get $11,000, you're $1,000 ahead from Frontier Motors. Or if you can't sell it, we'll be glad to buy it. And if we can't get together on buying, we might even consign the car.
Ron, I just counted our inventory, and we have 63 cars in inventory with less than 15,000 miles on it.
That's great.
63 cars. And what that means, folks, if you're going to be buying a brand new car, we're almost like your one-stop location. And if you've ever been to an auto show, the cool thing about going to get an auto show, other than the fact that you're not really hassled by salesmen because they don't really sell a lot of cars at auto shows, is that you can shop all the makes and model under one roof. And you can't do that in Pensacola anywhere other than Frontier Motors. Because when you go to the new car dealership, let's say you go to the Honda dealership, guess what? They're going to try to sell you a Honda. But you're not sure if you want a Honda or Toyota, so you go over to the Toyota dealership. That salesman is versed on why the Toyota is a better product than the Honda, and the Honda guy is versed why their Honda is a better product than Toyota. Heaven forbid you might go to the Ford and the Chevy store. They know all about their Fords and Chevys and tell you why theirs got the best product. At Frontier Motors, we're not here to sell you a make or model. We're here to help you make the decisions, and that's why you can go from one car to the next. And if you're thinking about a sport utility, for example, as our customer was yesterday, Ron, and we showed him a Honda CR-V. I should show him a RAV4, a Toyota RAV4, a Highlander. We're also able to show him the Hyundai Santa Fe and the Tucson. We have the Kia Sorento. I can go on, and they're all lined up. And these were all 2013 models and 2012 models that had under 10,000 miles on them. And we've got them all lined up there. Our salespeople are nice enough to unlock every car every morning. And they lock them up at night for you thieves out there, so don't come thinking you can take our radios or nothing, because they are locked at night with surveillance and security and cops and
dogs
everything.
and
Dogs and cops and
helicopters.
But anyways, we do unlock them every morning. And the reason we do that is, number one, to make the customer so they're a little more comfortable, that they don't have to feel obligated, that the salesman's got to run back and forth 20 times if they're looking at 20 different cars. We make it easy for you to shop at our dealership. Another thing we have is we have a price list that Ron has in his hands here. And this price list is available to you as a customer, so that if you come on your lunch hour and you just want to kick some tires, we'll give you the price list, which is in alphabetical order. So if you're looking at a Buick, that's the second car on the list, right after the Acuras and the BMWs. And it has the list price on it. It has the miles. It has information. And we'll even let you keep this if you want. If you want to take it home and study it to find out which car you're looking for. And, of course, the price list, you can go on to our website. So if you go home, let's say the wife's not there, the husband's not there, you're buying a car for your daughter, you can go on our website, and you have 20 to 30 detailed photographs of every car. And, of course, if you've already seen the car, that way, if you want to share the information, you can do that by the website.
Now, you got to say, are you kidding? Now, this is the dealership that opens up the cars. Are you kidding? They're open every day. They put 2 history reports in there to make sure in case one is wrong. Are you kidding? We give you a price list. Are you kidding? I mean, all this stuff is exactly what you're supposed to do. Now, why did we become the #1 independent dealer in the state of Florida? Why are we ranked 7th or 8th in the United States? It's because we're doing it the right way. We're doing it the way that people need to see. On this list I was just talking about, it has the explanation, has the full serial number in case you want to run your own history report. It also has...
In case you don't trust our history reports.
It ain't ours. But it has all the equipment. It has the price. It also has the sale price. And sometimes you see all these advertisements and you see these TV ads, you see radio ads and things like that. You never can find out where the sale price is. It's right on the sheet. And the other thing that's really nice and convenient, if you're financing, the loan value is right on the sheet. So it makes it a little bit easier to shop for cars. And that's one of the things that we try to do. We try to make it easier because we know you, the consumer out there listening on the radio and watching on television, hate the process. Well, we're trying to make the process a minimum, and it's working every day at Frontier Motors. A little bit about Frontier Motors hours, 8:30 till 6 in the evening. On Saturdays, 8:30 to 4, always closed on Sundays. And always someone there to help you with a phone call. All of our salespeople have laptops. They all have access to this information we're talking about here on the radio and television. So it's not a big secret place. You know, it's a little old place around the corner from Car City. It's not little as far as land. We have 300 cars over there, over 3 acres of cars. But give us a call, 436-8080. What do you got over there now?
Well, I got the new car cost guides, and the reason I'm holding this up, Ron, in case somebody wants to buy a brand new car, we can help them. I had a customer the other day wanted to buy a new Wrangler. So what I did is I open this up. I found out the retail price of the Wrangler, the cost on the Wrangler, and we put them in touch with the people over at Hill Kelly to buy a vehicle there. And I couldn't talk them out of it. They wanted a brand new car. Every once in a while you get a customer like that. But I helped them with the trade appraisal. And that's one of the things that we do. And some people have come to Frontier Motors just to sell us the car because they really don't know if they're getting a good deal when they have the trade-in. Because they never know, are they charging too much for the new car and then giving me not enough for my car, or are they giving me a lot for my car and then I'm getting ripped off on the new car? So they just come to Frontier Motors and we just write them a check. And that's one of the great services that we offer. The other thing we can do is, you talk about stuff for free, we give free advice at Frontier Motors. If you're going to buy your neighbor's car, or you see on the bulletin board that somebody's got a car for sale at work, and the only way that you can tell if it's a good deal or not by going on the Kelly Blue Book or the Edmunds, I'd say forget that stuff. Forget that Kelly and the Edmunds. Stop in at Frontier Motors with the ID number. Heck, if you can bring the car, it's even better off because we can assess the car. Don't tell us what they're looking for. I can show you, and Ron can show you what we can get your car just like that for, and then you can use that information to make sure that you're getting a good deal. Now, obviously, if the price is lower than that, go ahead and buy it and get it over with. But the price is $2,000 too much. you can use the information and say, hey, if Frontier Motors can get me, they either have a car in stock like that, or they can get me that car on their locate program for $2,000 less. So either you drop your price or I'm out. I'm going to go to them. And a lot of times people will call us back and say, hey, thanks for the advice, because I was able to get them to drop the price and I got a much better deal than I thought I could.
One of my hunting buddies is up in Quincy, Illinois, and he calls me up and he says, hey, man, I'm looking at a Jeep. I said, what are you doing looking at a Jeep? You're supposed to be hunting. He says, it was raining. So I came out, and this car lot's got this beautiful one-owner Jeep. I was able to run the VIN, check out the history report, give him some values that he could negotiate a sale. And I was hoping that he didn't buy it, but because I wanted to sell him something. But he found a bargain somewhere else, and it was such a good buy.
And you told him it was a bargain.
That he had. I told him it was a bargain. Go ahead and buy it. You ain't going to hurt my feelings. Just buy the next one from me. But we were able to help him out, no matter if he was up there or where you are. And that's what we do. What we do every day. We come in there, and our brains. We get there about 9 o'clock, and our brains start clicking cars, values of cars, and we do this, and we close it at 6 o'clock. And we stop that, and that's what we want you to do. We want you to share some of that information with us. That's what we do for a living. We have 11 great salespeople that'll help you out with that. Even the ladies in the office know how to do this stuff. You know, sometimes we get overrun with customers. They even know. Allison, we have a little lady that answers the phone. Even sometimes she can defer and help and do everything we need to do. Plus, we have 2 people that we full-time employ that help you out with financing. So if you're one of those customers out there and need a little help with financing, if you have challenge credit or excellent credit, you're trying to beat your credit union, you're trying to beat your bank, we can help you. If you got challenge credit and you can't get taken care of at your credit union, your bank, give us a call at 436-8080. Financing is awesome right now. It's probably the easiest it's been in the past 17 years we've been in business. It's so easy and so good right now and very, very competitive.
If you've lost your car and you can't find it, sooner or later the insurance company's going to have to write you a check for it.
30 days.
Stop in at Frontier Motors, and we will give you the right value that they should give you. And a lot of times insurance companies, there's a lot of insurance companies in Pensacola that are really straight up, that if the retail value of the vehicle is $12,500, they'll write you a check for $12,500 plus the taxes, plus the tag transfer. And there's some insurance companies that use comps and some other calculations that we can't figure out, and they'll offer you $10,000 for that $12,500 car. And that's where Ron and I come in. We will give you an appraisal in writing and say this is what they should get. And if they have any issues, you have the insurance company call us, and we'll tell them how we come up with that pricing. We also have a program called Price Driver, so if they're using comps, and they're using low-end comps, we can give you just as many high-end comps to make sure that insurance company is treating you fairly. And a lot of times what happens when they come in, Ron, and get all that information, let's say they totaled their Honda Civic, well, we've got 5 Honda Civics in stock. So what if we can replace that car for you while you're at the dealership, or at least you'll know where to go when you do get your money. But a lot of people, even if they don't buy from us, they can get that value for nothing. You also do a great service, Ron, that you have a program called diminished service, diminished value.
Diminished value is that if you're in an accident and someone else caused the damage, and it's a lot of damage to your car, you can get some money back from the insurance company because your car is going to be diminished value. In other words, if Ivan and I find a car that's been in a $10,000 wreck, it's not worth the same one that isn't. So Just be cautious of that. Give us a call at 436-8080. That's the telephone number there. Matter of fact, put that in your cell phone. Used car values, 436-8080. Next time you need a value on a car, you're going to need one. I'm telling you, you're going to need one for some reason. Just dial us up. Ask the guys on the end of the phone or the ladies on the end of the phone, hey, I need some help with a value, and we'll do it right away. No hassles, no gimmicks, no punching buttons, no 800 numbers, no trapping you. We just do it just because we like to talk about values.
No trapping. And the other thing that we do, other than toot our horn all day long, is we talk about a little bit about the new car industry. And I've got a magazine here called Consumers Reports. And Ron, for the first time in the history of Consumers Reports, they're putting the Impala ahead of all of the imports.
All right.
We got to go, Don.
We got to go. Remember, everybody drives a used car. Thanks for listening, and thanks for watching.
Frontier. We got the right price, Frontier. We'll treat you mighty nice. Frontier Motors, low overhead.